Yo, what's up guys, it's Talon, and today we're going to be talking about a very simple concept that genuinely wins you a lot of games. And the concept is basically playing around your win condition, playing around your champion strengths and your teammate strengths and this type of thing. And we're going to kind of illustrate through this game. I'm going to be talking about my teammates' mistakes. The point of the video is not to flame my teammates, but I'm going to be talking about their mistakes in this game to illustrate that. And then we're also going to talk about mid lane, understanding your strengths and being patient in this example with Syndra. So here I get outplayed, didn't think about Pyke starting third ability, bad start for me for sure, so lane phase not going well. Pyke is definitely going to beat a Syndra mid lane early anyway. Obviously Pyke's a pretty weird pick, but it's a strong early game laner that has, a lot of prio into a Syndra, and Syndra generally has to play very far back, has to mostly play to poke, and just generally you have to be very scared of the enemy, trying to walk up and kill you, just playing very passive. And so in this matchup, I'm not really concerned with winning trades. All I'm doing is playing for what my champion wants, which is to get as many stacks as possible and to just make the lane go even and, just kind of chill out, relax, not fight, not do much early, that type of thing. And so the reason that I'm kind of talking about playing around win conditions with this game is because we're going to see my teammates don't do a very good job of that. So the enemy have Draven top lane, very strong early game. Also, I don't know what that third ability was. I messed that up, obviously. But they have Draven top lane, they have Pyke mid lane, and just generally are very, very snowball reliant, apart from the Yuumi lane, obviously. But every other lane of theirs is very snowball reliant. They have a Volibear as well. And then we're going to see here, my Jax ends up contesting the bottom side scuttle and trying to fight early when he has no mid lane prio. And his bot lane is also, his ADC is recalled, and he also loses to Volibear early. So this is a very simple concept that a lot of people just don't understand. They don't understand playing around their strong point, which again in this case are not playing around their strong point, playing around their teammates' strengths. So again, if your teammates are more late game focused champions, you're not trying to make a bunch of early plays into the enemy. I mean, even he's playing a late game champion, in Jax compared to the enemy. Jax is going to scale really well into 2 ADCs with Kai'Sa Draven. Going to scale well into the Volibear, but early game you can't do much, and so he tries to make an early play, he loses his flash for it, and then obviously we're going to be a bit more screwed over. And like I said, I played lane badly, so if I play lane better, obviously I'm going to be in a bit of a better position to help, but I'm still not going to be able to help as a whole because my champion just doesn't do much early game. And so here we do actually have about a 200-300 gold lead because of the Pyke kind of roaming, and the Pyke, obviously not having first strike where I have first strike, that type of thing. But then again here, I have to recall, just a natural recall timer that, again, we should understand as anyone in this game. This is a master lobby. Anyone on my team should understand this is a very obvious recall timer for my champion. And I'm not going to fight on this timer. Instead, my teammates don't. They end up going, rotating, and getting double killed by Pyke, which leads to Pyke getting pretty much the only thing that he... And then you see how they ping enemy missing, enemy missing. They're really angry at me, right? They're thinking this is my fault. Reality is, the enemy champion does something a lot better than my champion, which is roam and fight early game. My champion doesn't do that well. My teammates also don't fight early game very well, with the Jax instead of a volley, for example. And yet they're trying to make a lot of plays early game, and then they get mad at their teammates when their teammates can't help, despite it not being really very realistic for their teammates to help. And so, again, a lot of people, they don't understand other rules. They don't understand how other rules work. And then they get mad when those other rules don't do what they want. So it's the same thing when you're playing jungle. You have a laner who doesn't have a lot of power early, and then they don't, you don't, or you expect them to help, and you go and fight a scuttle when they just can't fight scuttle early because of the matchup. Or even if the matchup is actually good for your teammate, if they just end up losing that matchup, even though it is a good matchup, and you see them losing it, and then you still contest scuttle, like that's your fault as a jungler. If you're a dual lane and you push up really far, really aggressively, and your jungler's on the other side of the map, and he's a late game farming jungler like Nyla, and the enemy is an early game Lee Sin, if you end up playing lane really aggressive, the enemy have Lee Sin pathing towards you, or you don't know where he's pathing, and your jungler is pathing away from you, and he's a late game champion, and then you fight, you're aggressive, and you do whatever, and then you end up getting ganked and dying. That's your fault. And so I've seen this many times with me playing Syndra in various different games. I will farm, I'll focus on my own strengths, I'll freeze the lane when I can, just get a little bit of poke, just make sure, again, I'm just having a slight lead in terms of gold, in terms of XP, stacks, whatever. And then, I play around that. I get strong, I carry a lot of games, but most of the games that I don't carry when I'm doing this are the games where my team decides to, force really hard and fight really, really hard. And again, here you see once again, right? We don't have mid prio, and our dual lane are, again, not aware of the fact that a roam could happen, not having, you know, like proper wards in the area. Like none of these things are happening. They're trying to fight and fight and fight, just constantly going in. And this is what leads to early game, of course, being very bad because the Pyke is naturally going to snowball off this. If Pyke doesn't get this type of an early game, he's going to be a useless mid lane champion that really won't do much. Now, in this case, I do rotate here because I can get some free stacks and some gold. Kind of mess up my mechanics again. So I'm not claiming to play well this game. And I'm also not, again, I'm not trying to flame anyone. Doesn't really matter. People are going to get mad. The point of this video, again, is to show you guys a lot of people, even in Master plus Elo, probably including you guys, including myself at times as well, will get overly angry and tilted about things that our teammates can't really control. And then we can see like the Pyke just randomly goes and dies to me. I don't know why, but just this Pyke alone dying to me after he has 5 kills from all of his roams and everything, that kind of gives me the opportunity to possibly come back, right? So even though my teammates were doing this, even though I didn't lane the best, I'm focused on my own farm. I'm focused on myself. I'm only down 500 gold to the 5-kill Pyke as a 1-kill Syndra. I'm hitting my power spikes, and I'm mostly just focused on getting towards, you know, those later items, and that's really all that matters. So you're going to see, again, I'm only really going to be concerned with my own gold throughout this game. I'm only going to be concerned with my strengths, because once again, if you lock in a champion who's really selfish, like Syndra, like Orianna, then you need to play selfish. If you're locking in a champion like Ahri that can help your team more, like Ryze that has a global ultimate, you play for your team. So just the basic concept I want you guys to understand for this video is to understand how your champion wants to play the game and do your best to play around that. In some games, you have to adjust based on, you know, circumstances. So like, let's say I was Syndra and I see my teammate going for a level 1 invade. I'm probably going to push my lane pretty hard on purpose just so I can go help on that invade after I get level 2 from the first wave. Now, am I going to like that play? No, I don't want my teammate to do that. It's probably stupid, but I can still do some things like that to try to help my team when I see them going for the plays. But I want to, you know, for the most part, prioritize my own strengths and my own farm, because that's what my champion does best, which is why, once again, you saw me just zoning there and just poking a little. Why was I poking? To get stacks. Like that's the reason that I'm doing this. I'm not doing this because I think we're going to somehow kill them. I'm just trying to get my stacks up. I'm trying to get my champion strengths, you know, to get online. And so what do I want to do? I just want to find gold on whatever part of the map I can. I don't want to fight the enemy because we're behind a bunch of gold against a Draven, Pyke, Yuumi, Kai'Sa, Volibear, a bunch of early game champions apart from their dual lane. And so what do I do here? I push mid and I go top side because the enemy already took Herald, so they're going to go Dragon. So I have this time to go top side, possibly get a kill and get a turret out of it. So look here, again, silly of my Camille. Like, Camille should understand here, of course, if Draven walks up, we go and we just one-shot Draven under turret because the enemy can't be there because they'd be on Dragon. And so like here, I'm trying to ping, engage, and then look at this. Like, I almost one-shot this guy, and my Camille just won't walk under tower to try to kill them, right? And this is, again, a lack of understanding of what we should be doing to progress the game. As the late game champions, me and Camille, you know, both late game champions, against an enemy comp that's really good early game and snowballing heavily, you want to make plays on the opposite side of the map. So when the enemy go towards Dragon like they did, me and Camille need to make a play on the top side to get a dive off. She's unaware of that, which again leads to us not being able to snowball as hard. Again, I just want to clarify, I'm pointing out these mistakes to help you guys learn. I'm not trying to flame them. I flame them on my stream when I get, you know, tilted because it's in the moment. I don't really care at this point in the game. This game was like over a day ago. I forgot this game even happened until I was trying to think about what type of video to make today. So I'm trying to point that out to acknowledge that. But again, because of that, we're kind of not able to snowball as hard, but we still got the turret out of it. So as the Syndra, you see, once again, I played the opposite side of where the enemy would be making plays. Got additional gold on myself, and I'm putting myself in a position to still carry this game if the enemy make a couple mistakes into me, do anything dumb. I'm going to be able to get my gold. So once again, I'm walking up, trying to just make sure I have the ability to get some level of gold here. I have flash and cleanse, so I'm not overly scared about dying. And then now I'm like, okay, I got the gold there. Where's the next spot I can get gold? I can get gold from this fruit here, so I go for it. There's not really any waves I can currently cover in top or mid, or top or bot rather, because my teammates are already on them. So I might as well just get that extra 90 gold from the Sweet Tooth. And then now again, if the enemy try to make plays somewhere, I'm just going around the map getting Sweet Tooth gold. But if the enemy try to make plays like they do top and they do bot, I'm just going to push a wave. So once again, this time I see there's 2 people or 3 people bot and 2 people top, I know it's a free mid turret for me. So once again, all I'm concerned with is my own champion strengths for the most part, right? So again, we just understand what our comp actually wants to do, whereas a lot of my teammates didn't, which led to this game, you know, being Obviously not in a great spot, whereas if we kind of just understand what our champs want to do, we can play around that more heavily and be in a bit of a better spot. Here we try to get Draven. I don't remember if I kill him or not. Yeah, I think I do flash and get him. That was honestly pretty risky, because if I missed that first ability, I would have died. Low-key risky, but once again, you see these opposite side plays. We push out the mid wave as the enemy are on the side lanes trying to make plays. Then the enemy are done with their plays. We make sure we're not still there because we've already pushed out the wave. We go to a side lane where we might be able to pick someone off and protect a turret. In this case, it was the Draven. We get that kill onto the Draven, and so once again, I'm 2-0. I've got my gold. I actually have the most gold in the game, I think, right now. So I'm still very, very fed, even against this Pyke who got an absurd amount of kills early. I go and I get that mid wave. And then what do I do now? I'm just looking for gold around the map wherever I can. So my team goes mid. Oh, that's fine. They can go mid. I'm going to go get this top lane wave, right? I try to let the wave sit a bit so that the next wave will come. That's why I didn't hit it super fast, because then the next wave will come closer to us, so I don't have to put myself in danger to farm it. And then you can see here, this is where the wave comes. And now I got my death cap. So I have death cap in less than 11 minutes, which is extremely, extremely fast. I'm at basically 1,000 gold per minute, which is pretty absurd considering the fact that my team is hard losing this game and I'm a late game champion. So being, 12k or 1k gold per minute at this point is very, very good. And now if the enemy make a mistake or two, we can take advantage. So the enemy, really good by my Ashe and really bad by the Pyke. I don't know what he was doing. They get caught. And now we're in a position where definitely if the enemy make a mistake or they int, we've already killed one. We can now definitely kind of snowball off of 1 or 2 kills, force a Baron off it. That type of thing. So we try to zone the Baron. I don't know why the enemy even would go for it with Pyke being dead, but at this point we're very, very keen on fighting due to the fact that I hit my death cap. So again, I'm playing around my power spike, playing around my champion strengths, and now boom, like we're in a position where if my teammate goes aggressive, I don't know why I went all the way around this wall like this. It's kind of weird of me, but we can try to one-shot them. I make a mistake here. So again, I'm not even playing very well, mechanically speaking. Like, Yuumi got taken down, so I was like, oh, I want to go kill the Yuumi. I should have just gone for the Pyke, or for the Draven, I mean, and I would have been able to kill him. But either way, I'm strong. I'm still getting my damage off. I'm almost at 120 stacks at this point, and we do a bunch of damage. And the enemy makes some dumb mistakes, and my team takes advantage. So honestly, again, like, my team did a good job in this fight. I didn't really do that much, but the fact that I'm farming so much means I'm in a position to carry any fight, that I do get, my proper spells off, I land my stuff, all that type of thing. So that's really what we're looking for. And then here, really good Ashe arrow. Yuumi immediately abandons the Kai'Sa, which is pretty funny. And we were able to, again, kind of get in a position to come back in this game. Largely due to the fact that I understood what my champion and what our team needs in order to win this game. If I had just followed my team to a lot of these fights, we would have just lost the fights even harder. Because again, our champions just aren't strong enough early game to contend with the enemy. And we would have had no win condition, no point of strength. Instead, we have a really fed Syndra on our team, which means the enemy are always quite fearful of getting one shot. And yeah, my champion's pretty broken, so if I have a lot of gold on Syndra, I'm kind of going to be chilling in most scenarios. So we're down 3k gold, not the end of the world. Again, because of our scaling, they have Draven and Pyke, very bad late game champions, if they don't snowball. So we're still totally comfortable with the game state we're in. Got to be very aware of this Pyke. Make sure to cleanse, and then I think the Pyke tries to chase us down but doesn't end up succeeding, so that is good. We were almost able to, I feel like, to turn on him and kill him, but not quite. That champion is very, very mobile. So now that I don't have my cleanse, I'm a bit more scared, but I still have the flash too, so not the end of the world. And again, since I have farmed so well, all I need is one good moment where I can blow someone up, and we really start turning the game around there. Like, that's kind of what we're looking for. A lot of people who play these early game champs like Pyke and Draven, they really thrive off of people giving up early and tilting, because and you can see the one shot here, but they kind of thrive off of people tilting pretty early on in games after they snowball. A lot of them don't actually know how to close out games well when they get fed, just because they're so used to getting so far ahead from these champions and then winning just off being 10k gold ahead, that when the game is relatively even or close, they're kind of confused. Also, the Kai'Sa was AP there, and I did not realize that, so her W's hurt me a lot. But again, at this point, the Draven died already, so we're pretty, happy to play these fights out at this point with one person on the enemy dead. We end up ulting the Pyke. I believe we get him. We do. And pretty straightforward here at this point. I mean, the enemy have just been outscaled. Like, they don't have good late game. Imagine if we didn't, run it into them early game and force fights 24/7. It would have been even harder, right? So that's kind of why I wanted to make this video, to sort of point out pretty common mistakes. I mean, notice here even, like, I don't care. I know we're going to get Baron. There's only one person in the enemy team alive. I'm immediately going for this bottom lane wave. Like, I am so overly concerned with gold because I know there's no way we're going to lose that. I might as well just be as efficient as possible, already getting on to the next, play, which is pushing out this wave so that the Baron can potentially get more value. I can get more gold, get more fed, and just be in a position to carry. So I'm able to get my 4 items plus enchant, which at this point pretty much means unless I fuck up, I won't die. So yeah, I mean, we're pretty happy with everything at this point. And it's really kind of the main thing that Syndra needs to understand is, like, if you know how to lane well, which I have a video on laning with mages. If you go to my Evergreen videos playlist, you can find it there. If you understand how to lane well, and then you understand how to get gold, which is kind of the concepts followed in this video, you're probably going to be able to carry a lot of Syndra games. She's a very straightforward champion in terms of macro. You understand these concepts and you're going to be chilling. So that's really an important thing to understand when you're playing her. And a lot of times your teammates end up pinging you when you do stuff like this. You saw my teammates pinging me early game and all these annoying things, right? It's very tilting, can be very frustrating, and a lot of times people want to end up following because they, don't want to get flamed. But reality is, if you end up following their plays, you're not going to be 6-0-6 15 minutes into the game with the most gold in the game like you see me doing here, one-shotting everyone. You're going to be a lot lower gold. And I'm not just saying this too. I've been coaching plenty of players. I've coached Syndra players. I've coached players of different mage, champions. And a lot of them have 750, 720 GPM, gold per minute. And the main reason is because they're following these calls. Like, they're following the fights. Even there, notice how I'm trying to push that wave out rather than focusing on this random fight. My teammates might do these random silly fights like we see here. I'm not going to be concerned myself with these things because it just doesn't matter. I'd rather just get that inhib, that actually progresses the game. You see that bottom lane inhib. I'd rather one-shot the Pyke like that, which again requires me to farm really, really well. I don't need to follow their silly plays. That they're not good at the game. And again, this is pretty early season master, right? Like, these players are probably for a lot of my viewers, depends on what rank my viewers are, but for a lot of my viewers, these players are higher elo than you, because most of these players are going to be probably Grandmaster, Challenger peaks, and they're making these mistakes constantly. They're blaming their team. They're flaming. And so if they're flaming, I kind of like to say, like, it sounds cocky when I say it like this because I don't really mean it in that way, but if people are going to flame and get mad at and ping someone who's been rank 1 solo queue like me, they're definitely going to get mad at you as well, who is probably, someone who doesn't play the game for 8 hours a day like I do. Just naturally speaking, like, if they're getting mad at me, they're going to get mad at almost everyone. So it really doesn't do anything to listen to your teammates and to get super angry about, or to let, the fact that they're angry get to you and start playing the way they want you to play, because they just don't know what they're talking about. And I think it's important for some people to hear this because they know what the right play is, but then they want to follow their teammates. And then it ends up with everyone still losing, and you're still going to get blamed. Like, if you do what they say and then it doesn't work out, they will blame you anyways for, like, something else. Like, they'll say, like, oh, you missed your ability here, or you did whatever else wrong. They're always going to find something wrong with your gameplay regardless, because it's easier than blaming yourself, right? Like, most of the days, it's just easier to blame yourself, or to blame your teammates, rather. So that's what they're going to do. But regardless, we ended up sticking to what our champion wants to do. We farmed well. We made sure to catch the side lane waves. We played on the opposite side of the map when the enemy made a lot of plays on one side of the map when they were ahead. We made sure to go to the other side of the map, like that play onto the Draven with the Camille that she didn't want to follow, where we still got a turret out of it. Or, again, the plays where we were just getting gold while our team was needlessly fighting. That all led to us being in this situation where, even though, again, you saw me make a lot of mechanical mistakes in lane phase, later on in the game, I missed spells, I did dumb things, and yet I'm still one-shotting a Kai'Sa like we see here, or nearly anyways. Shout out to Zillion for getting the final blow there. But that's just, it doesn't matter, right? It doesn't matter that you make some mistakes. You don't have to play mechanically perfectly in order to actually climb. You just have to make sure you understand your champion strengths, play around those, and you're going to be chilling. Here we're able to barely get the Pyke. I almost died there. But we do end up getting the triple kill, I believe. Yeah, so we get the triple kill, and I think we end the game here. I think this is definitely the most important concept to follow on Syndra, and just mages in general, really mid laners in general for the most part, just following your champion strength. So again, not every champion strength is what you're seeing me do on Syndra. Some of the champions, like an Ahri, like a Lissandra, they're going to want to still make sure you're pushing your wave before you roam, but they're going to definitely want to roam a lot more, right? So after they push their wave, they roam, they play around their team, especially when your team is stronger, when they have more gold, when they're fighting well, and when they're better early game champions. Whereas again, when you're better late game champions, not as good at fighting, or your champion strength is more so farming, you're going to want to probably follow what you saw me do here. Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you want to get coaching from me, a rank 1 solo queue player, DM me on Discord, Talon1169, or through the link in the description to my Discord server. It's just $25 an hour for coaching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.